The beloved, listen carefully. In every generation, there are men and women who rise beyond the ordinary. They break limits. They challenge the status quo. They refuse to bow to the excuses that keep the masses small. These are the 2%. And the question today is, why do only 2% succeed while 98% don't? It's not luck. It's not background. It's not even talent. There are principles that govern success, and principles are stronger than emotions. You can cry, you can complain, but until you align with principles, your results will remain the same. The difference between the 2% and the 98% is mindset, discipline, and alignment. The 2% are not driven by comfort. They are driven by purpose. They see beyond the present. They see possibilities where others see problems. Success is not accidental. The 98% wake up and see what is. The 2% wake up and see what can be. Your life will always move in the direction of your vision. What you cannot see, you cannot become. Ask yourself, what picture do you have of your tomorrow? If your mind cannot travel there, your feet will never walk there. Everybody wants to succeed, but wanting is not enough. The 98% are emotional about success. The 2% are disciplined about it. Discipline means doing what you must do, even when you don't feel like it. It means praying when the flesh is weak, studying when others are sleeping, saving when others are spending, and staying focused when others are distracted. You cannot conquer the world if you have not conquered yourself. The greatest enemy of success is not failure, it is comfort. The 2% understand that greatness costs something. They pay the price of focus, consistency, and obedience. Listen carefully, success begins in the mind. The 98% carry a victim mentality. A life is unfair. I have no support. Others are luckier. But the 2% carry a dominion mentality. If I cannot find a door, I will build one. Until your mind shifts, your life will not shift. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. It's not what happens around you that limits you. It's what happens within you. You can be born in poverty, but don't let poverty be born in you. You can be surrounded by failure, but don't let failure live inside you. The 98% want results without roots. They want greatness without growth. They want platforms without preparation. But the 2% understand that destiny takes time. There is no microwave greatness. Every seed must grow through hidden seasons before it bears fruit in public. Don't rush the process. God hides men before he reveals them. The waiting season is not a wasted season. It is where character is built, strength is developed, and capacity is enlarged. Purpose is success is not magic, it's alignment. When your life aligns with divine principles, discipline, honor, integrity, purpose, success becomes inevitable. The 2% are intentional about who they listen to, how they spend time, and what they pursue. They invest in growth, guard their environment, and stay connected to purpose. Every decision is either bringing you closer to destiny or taking you away from it. Choose wisely. Sister CY, the difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is consistency. The 98% quit when it's hard. The 2% keep showing up, keep doing the little things. Keep sowing in faith, even when there's no visible result. It's not what you do once that changes your life. It's what you do repeatedly. Your daily habits are the prophecy of your tomorrow. Finally, true success is not possible without God. You can build systems, study books, and master principles, but unless the breath of God is upon it, it will not last. The 2% understand that without the giver of wisdom, success becomes pride. They anchor their ambition in grace, their excellence in humility, and their strength in prayer. The 98% wish The percent work, the 98% talk, the 2% act, the 98% fear, the 2% believe. The question is not whether greatness exists. It does. The real question is, will you remain among the 98% who settle for mediocrity? Or will you rise and join the 2% who change their world? You have one life. Make it count. You have one destiny. Guard it. Pursue it. Be among the 2%. Discipline separates dreamers from achievers, because dreams alone never guarantee manifestation. And vision without structure always dies as imagination. Every man or woman who has ever done something significant has mastered the art of doing what must be done, even when they don't feel like doing it. Discipline is the silent force that converts intention into motion and motion into transformation. It is the proof that you value your destiny more than your comfort. When people say they admire greatness, what they are truly admiring is consistency disguised as success. Behind every crown is 1,000 small choices made in private, 1,000 sacrifices that nobody applauded, 1,000 moments when the mind said stop, but the spirit whispered continue. The discipline is not about perfection. It's about commitment. It's not about never failing. It's about not giving up after failure. The dreamers love the idea of greatness, but achievers love the process that builds greatness. Dreamers talk, achievers act. The dreamers desire, achievers do. The difference is not knowledge, because both know what to do. The difference is that achievers command themselves to act upon what they know. Discipline is the governor of destiny, the unseen hand that holds a man steady when the storms of distraction and discouragement rise. Many have passion, but few have order. Passion makes you start. Discipline makes you continue. Passion burns fast, but discipline burns long. Passion gives energy. Discipline gives direction. The world celebrates excitement, but heaven rewards endurance. The discipline is what keeps you praying when you no longer feel spiritual. It keeps you studying when your mind wants entertainment. It makes you say no when everything around you says yes. It teaches you that success is not built in a day, but built daily. The discipline is the bridge between potential and performance. You can be gifted and still fail if you lack discipline, because gifts open doors, but character keeps you there. And character is the child of discipline. Every dream requires a price, and the currency is consistency. The man who succeeds is not necessarily the most talented, but the most consistent. He shows up again and again until his excellence becomes predictable. Discipline gives strength to focus, and focus gives birth to mastery. Every master was once an amateur who refused to quit. Every genius was once a beginner who practiced long enough to outlast mediocrity. The discipline is training your desires to obey your decisions. It's teaching your emotions who is in charge. It is not natural. It is cultivated. It is not inherited. It is learned through repetition and resistance. Like a muscle, it grows through use. The more you obey structure, the stronger your capacity becomes. The undisciplined people chase everything and catch nothing, because they are driven by impulse, not intention. They start many things but finish none, because feelings are poor leaders. Feelings change with seasons, but purpose must remain fixed. Discipline tells you to continue walking when motivation has left the room. Motivation inspires you for a moment, but discipline sustains you for a lifetime. The 2% who succeed have simply mastered what others avoid. They understand that progress is built from ordinary days. They embrace routine because they know repetition refines skill. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are permanently. The discipline is not bondage, it is freedom from chaos. It liberates you from living by accident and empowers you to live by design. Every destiny has a demand. You cannot pray your way into success if you neglect the demands that create it. Prayer supplies grace, but discipline applies it. Discipline is how you translate divine instruction into visible manifestation. The scripture it is proof that you trust the process enough to obey it even when the results are not yet visible. A man without discipline will keep starting over because every small challenge will reset his journey. Life rewards the stable, not the impulsive. Those who succeed have trained themselves to do what others postpone. They wake up early when others are sleeping. They study while others are distracted. They plan while others complain. They are not slaves to their moods. They are servants to their mission. Discipline requires boundaries. You cannot be everywhere and achieve something worthwhile. You cannot say yes to everything and still fulfill your purpose. Discipline teaches you to say no, even to good things, so you can say yes to the right things. It is knowing when to speak, when to be silent, when to rest, and when to rise. It is valuing time as a currency and using it wisely. Every great destiny is surrounded by structure. You cannot live carelessly and expect an extraordinary outcome. The 98% who fail are not bad people. They are just distracted people. They allow comfort, laziness, and comparison to steal their focus. They confuse activity with progress. But those who succeed understand that every small act of discipline accumulates into momentum. They don't chase results. They build systems that produce results. Discipline is that quiet, unseen system that works even when motivation disappears. Every field of excellence, whether spiritual, academic, business, or leadership, is ruled by men who mastered discipline. The musician practices until his fingers bleed. The athlete trains until his muscles ache. The leader studies until his mind expands. These are not acts of punishment, they are acts of preparation. They know that to stand before kings, they must first conquer themselves. The discipline is the inner government that ensures you don't betray your destiny through negligence. It's the ability to do hard things repeatedly without needing applause. You may not see the fruit today, but every act of obedience adds up. Every act of consistency builds invisible strength. Every quiet moment of practice becomes a seed that will speak loudly tomorrow. Discipline refines potential into power, dreams into destiny, and plans into performance. Your mindset determines your altitude because the boundaries of your life are drawn by the limits of your thoughts. A man's mind is his world. If his mind is small, his world will be small. And if his mind expands, everything around him begins to respond to that expansion. Success does not begin with resources, it begins with perspective. Two people can face the same situation, yet one sees opportunity while the other sees impossibility. The difference is not in what they see physically, but in how they interpret it mentally. The greatest prison is not bars of iron, but the confinement of negative thinking. Until the mind is renewed, destiny remains restricted. When you think limitation, you live limitation. And when you think possibility, you create pathways where none existed before. Every breakthrough first happens in the realm of thought before it manifests in the realm of results. Mindset is the lens through which you interpret life. A broken lens will always distort the image, no matter how beautiful the scenery. Some people cannot see value even when it stands before them because their internal belief system rejects what their environment presents. A wrong mindset can cancel a right opportunity. The poor often think like victims, while the successful think like creators. The poor say, "I can't," while the successful ask, "How can I?" The poor look for help, while the successful look for solutions. Life always responds to the dominant thoughts you hold about yourself. If you believe you are disadvantaged, you will act in ways that prove that belief. If you believe you are capable, you will act with confidence that invites opportunities. The greatest transformation happens not when circumstances change, but when perception does. Every man carries two worlds, the world within and the world without. The world within is your belief, your reasoning, your conviction. The world without is your physical reality. The world without is only a reflection of the world within. Change the inner world, and the outer world will obey. People try to fix the fruit when the problem is in the root. That they chase external adjustments without addressing internal assumptions. You can change cities, jobs, relationships, or environments, but if your mindset remains the same, your results will repeat themselves. A man who believes he is a failure will sabotage every opportunity for success because his mind has already concluded what his effort cannot override. This is why some people remain stagnant even with access to resources, while others rise with nothing but vision and the right mentality. Mindset determines interpretation. When challenges come, the one person sees a mountain, another sees a stepping stone. The difference is the mind. The 98% allow circumstances to define their mood, but the 2% define their response to circumstances. They have trained their minds to see value in adversity and growth in discomfort. They understand that problems are the raw materials of progress. Until you learn to think differently, you will always repeat the same patterns. A man's life is too small for the greatness God placed inside him until his mind is renewed enough to host that greatness. Your thoughts are seeds and your life is the field. Whatever you consistently think will eventually grow into behavior, habits, and outcomes. If your mind is filled with fear, you will live cautiously. If your mind is filled with faith, you will move boldly. The greatest battles are not external. They happen in the invisible space between your ears. Every time life confronts you, the first question is not whether you are capable, but whether you believe you are. Doubt weakens, faith strengthens. Fear blinds, the vision illuminates. The quality of your thoughts decides the quality of your life. The 2% who succeed have learned to protect their minds from the contamination of negativity. They filter information. They guard conversations. They refuse to dwell on failure. They feed their minds with truth, wisdom, and inspiration, because they understand that what enters the mind eventually becomes the language of the heart. And the language of your heart becomes the rhythm of your life. To change your mindset, you must challenge your defaults. Many think in patterns inherited from environment, culture, and upbringing. A child who grows up hearing money is evil may subconsciously repel wealth. One who is told you can't may live in fear of trying. Mind renewal begins with unlearning. You must unlearn limitation, unlearn fear, unlearn mediocrity. You must deliberately replace every lie that says you are not enough with the truth that says you are created for more. Mindset is not changed by wishing. It is changed by consistent exposure to higher thoughts. The mind expands through information and repetition. Whatever you hear long enough becomes what you believe, and what you believe shapes what you become. Mindset determines response. Two people lose money. One gives up, the other starts again wiser. Two people face rejection. One hides, the other improves. Same experience, different results. Because of mindset. The mind is the steering wheel of destiny. When it turns wrong, the whole life veers off course. You cannot think defeat and walk in victory. You cannot think scarcity and experience abundance. You cannot think mediocrity and attract excellence. Your thinking must align with your desired outcome. If you want greatness, think greatness. If you want growth, think progress. The mind creates pathways for what it expects. Belief is a magnet. It attracts to you what you expect. Consciously or unconsciously, your altitude in life is determined not by what you face, but by how you face it. People who rise higher are not those with fewer problems, but those with a higher perspective. An eagle flies above storms because it uses the wind that terrifies other birds to lift itself higher. That is mindset. When the average person runs from challenges, Those with elevated thinking rise through them. They do not see pressure as punishment, but as preparation. They are not broken by failure because their mind interprets failure as feedback. The same environment that defeats others becomes their training ground. Mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities, the pain into purpose, and waiting into wisdom. Every great achiever carries a mindset of possibility. They have trained their inner eyes to see abundance in the midst of lack, light in the midst of darkness, and purpose in the midst of pain. They speak differently because they think differently. That they attract differently because they believe differently. The atmosphere around them shifts because the energy of their thoughts creates movement in unseen dimensions. When a man begins to think like a king, life starts arranging itself to fit his mentality. When a woman begins to think like a leader, the doors of influence begin to open. Your world is waiting for your mind to catch up with your calling. To rise, you must first rise in your mind. To break limits, you must first break mental barriers. To live an extraordinary life, you must think extraordinary thoughts. What fills your mind eventually fills your reality. The 2% succeed not because they were born different, but because they chose to think different. They have disciplined their minds to reject fear, to refuse doubt, and to believe in the possibility of greatness. They understand that every thought is a seed of destiny, and they plant carefully because they know harvest always comes. The altitude of your life will always mirror the altitude of your thinking.